Victorian women. Now, fashion. For those who could afford it, keeping up with the latest fashions was often an uncomfortable experience. Corsets were laced tightly to make the waist smaller. As many as 6 petticoats were worn to add a volume to skirts, and as much as 7 to 14 pounds in weight. From around 1850, women began to wear a hooped frame called a crinoline under their skirts to make them even wider. Now, Britain may have been ruled by a woman, but most Victorians believed that a woman's place was in the home, and that the only proper occupations for women were marriage and motherhood. The ideal Victorian woman was experienced to be an angel in the house. Beautiful, modest, and virtuous, dutiful to her husband, and devoted to her children. She was not supposed to express her own opinions, and she certainly wasn't supposed to pursue her own career. This ideal was reflected in Victorian fashions, designed to make their hips look wider and their waists smaller. Dresses made women look elegant and emphasized their femininity, but they would have been uncomfortable to move around in and even more difficult to work in. Women's work. In reality, few women could possibly live up to the Victorian ideal. Most were far too poor to afford the latest fashions and needed to take paid work to support their families. Some were able to combine this with cooking, cleaning, and looking after their children by working at home. They took on jobs including dressmaking, taking in other people's laundry, and making things such as matchboxes or brushes. But most women had to find jobs outside the home. The majority were employed either as domestic servants or in factories, and they were usually paid much less than their male counterparts. The hours were long, and when they got home, they were still expected to do all the household chores. Feminine professions. Life could be tough even for women from wealthy families. Until 1882, a woman's income and any property she inherited legally belonged to her husband, even if the marriage broke down. Middle-class women only went out to work if they had no husband or parents to support them. But most careers other than teaching or childcare were considered unsuitable for them. Gradually, in the late 19th century, people's attitudes began to change. In the 1870s, a few universities began to offer degrees to women for the first time, enabling them to qualify for careers such as medicine and law. But professional women were still very much in the minority, and they often faced opposition from their families and employers.